Well, I don't know about you, but I think this 650 sounds great with that Stinger pipe on it. Welcome to AlphaCars. Today we're taking a look at this brand new 2024 Royal Enfield Continental 650. As you just heard, it does have a 2-in-1 exhaust on it, and we installed some other cafe-style accessories as well that we'll take a close look at. We're really going to do a deep dive on this bike. Royal Enfield made some great updates for 2024, including on these blacked out models, they have the alloy wheels with tubeless tires. So this is Apex Gray, and it is one of those models that have that great update. We'll also learn about some of the kind of facts and figures of these bikes. We'll talk about even the 3-year unlimited mileage warranty that these come with. And I will say we are a Royal Enfield dealer. We do have many of these in stock, always a wide selection of new and occasionally lightly used Royal Enfield. So definitely keep that in mind. And we do arrange transportation as well. So even if you're not local, still reach out to us, give us a call, 978-263-9000, and we can still work with you there. But now that that's out of the way, let's take a closer look at this Continental. First, let's cover the updates for the 2024 model year. We're going to go over the color choices for the Continental first, because some of the updates for 2024 do depend on what color bike you have, and I will explain that right now. So this is one of the blacked out variants, is what Royal Enfield calls it. So this is Apex Gray, the other color being Slipstream Blue, and the blacked out variant is having this black powertrain, and this bike does have the aftermarket exhaust, but the factory exhaust is the same sort of matte or satin black. And then these blacked out variants, these two colors, are the ones that get the alloy wheels with the tubeless tires. So the 3 other colors for 2024, those being kind of the standard bikes, I guess you could call them, the Dux Deluxe, Rocker Red, and British Racing Green, those will have the wheels and tires we're used to seeing. The spoked rims with the tubed tires. So like I said, only on these blacked out models are the ones that come with the alloy wheels and the tubeless tires. Now the rest of these updates I'm about to show you, these span across all the colors of both the Continental and the Interceptor for that matter. First, we have a new headlight, full LED headlight. I really like the design of this. It's very symmetrical. I can turn on the key. You can see it's a very crisp color. I can motion on our high beam there. So now really, as soon as you buy one of these, you won't have to maybe throw an LED headlight in it. It's already gonna have a very nice output of light on the road, and really that increases the safety of it as well, especially being seen by other drivers and maybe driving in inclement conditions. Now the last couple changes are up on our handlebars here. We have the premium switch cubes, is what Royal Enfield calls them. They say they're constructed with aluminum, and the substantiality of these is really quite amazing. We're used to seeing these 3-way switches on the 350cc Royal Enfield bikes like the Meteor and Classic. I really like them. I think it's a really kind of fresh take on the switch gear, and it really makes things seem really clean and orderly on the handlebars. These also have the same grips from the 350s, which I really like these grips, how they're contoured and how they're kind of like a soft touch. These bikes are so incredibly smooth to ride with how balanced the engine is, but if any vibrations do make it up into the bars, these grips kind of kill the rest. It's a really smooth ride. I always really like the grips that came on the 350 bikes, so that is nice to see. And then lastly, there's the USB plug. So it's kind of an awkward angle, but we can see I can open the cover for it right there. Even on Royal Enfield's website, they have some kind of creative camera angles to show you that. But it's mounted right under the clutch lever mount. So once again, that's actually from the 350 bikes. The Meteors and Classics have had have had those for quite a little while now, but it's a nice addition on the Continental and Interceptor. So then you're able to just, run a short, orderly cord right to your phone or GPS. I just like how seamless and hidden that is as well. It's really, you almost have to have someone tell you about it, or you'll never know it's there. So that's really it for the updates for 2024. I know this bike, you may see some different things on it. It does have accessories, some of them being aftermarket, some of them being Royal Enfield genuine accessories, and we will detail those just a bit later in this video. But now let's learn just a little bit about the Continental. So first, that engine. It's a fuel-injected 648cc parallel twin, 47 horsepower, 38 foot-pounds of torque. It is mated to a 6-speed gearbox, and it is air and oil cooled. So we've got these nice cooling fins on the cylinder jug there, and then there is an external oil cooler, and it is a pretty big one as well up there. And that 6-speed gearbox is silky smooth. It's a really smooth shifting bike. The clutch is easy to use. It's a light pull, and I've always found it very easy to find neutral as well. Royal Enfield says these can yield up to 63 miles a gallon. Of course, that's depending on maybe how the bike's loaded, the riding conditions, how you're riding it. But with a 3.3 gallon capacity fuel tank, that's really a lot of smiles between fuel stops that can be had. These do have a 472-pound wet weight. Maybe we saved a little bit with that aftermarket exhaust. We would need to, weigh everything to be sure. But the factory bike with the factory dual mufflers, 472 pounds wet. And if you're wondering what the wet weight means, that's the actual weight of the motorcycle. That's what you want to know. Don't be fooled by a motorcycle's dry weight. That is the weight of the bike without oil, without gas, without brake fluid. So it's actually going to be quite a little bit heavier than a dry weight. So like I said, that's the wet weight. And it's really, these bikes, the geometry is very nice. And I've been, riding this around our building to move it around, and I've had these on the road a few times. And especially at the low speeds, even with the kind of low bars, these are just so easy to maneuver. They're so balanced. It really doesn't feel like 472, pounds with how Royal Enfield has this kind of package set up. They do have 6.8 inches of ground clearance, so plenty of clearance there for maybe speed bumps or you get on a rough road. And let's move on to the brakes. These do have standard ABS front and rear. Starting at the front, we have a 320 millimeter disc. It is drilled and it is a floating design, so even if you're out enjoying yourself on maybe a back road, if it's safe to do so, and you're getting some heat in those rotors, you're always going to have some great stopping performance. It's always going to be smooth as well. And we have a 2-piston caliper up front. And of course, like I said, ABS front and rear, we can see the ABS tone ring right there. And moving around to the back, we have a 240 millimeter disc back there. Once again, drilled and floating design, and is a single piston caliper back there. Talking about the seat, this is our leeway into the accessories on this bike, but the seat height with the factory seat is 32.3 inches. So not too bad there, not intimidating. Maybe if you're a new rider or you don't have the luxury of maybe being, a tall rider. But this is the cafe style seat with the cowl. So we wanted to do the black cowl to kind of match the rest of the blacked out items on the bike. And this is a, genuine Royal Enfield product. We sell all these accessories, even some of the aftermarket accessories I'm going to show you. We do sell these on our online parts store. So the link to that will be popping up in the video right now and in the description. And we ship worldwide actually. So no matter where you're viewing this video, if you're maybe looking to add some style and personality to your Royal Enfield or Ural motorcycle for that matter, because we are a Ural motorcycle dealer as well, definitely check out our parts store and we'd be happy to send you some parts for your bike. Now back to the accessories. Like I said, we did the kind of single rider cafe style seat there with the black cowl. Moving to the front, this has the black fly screen on it, which is this piece, very nice piece. Once again, genuine Royal Enfield. This does actually deflect a good amount of wind and bugs off you as well. It kind of moves, moves the wind up a little higher. It's not gonna maybe keep all the wind off your chest or helmet, but it definitely does help. It has the Royal Enfield bar and mirrors. And we can see the nice aluminum bar ends there. I love these bar end mirrors. I like bar end mirrors in general on a street bike because they actually give you a lot of visibility, since when you're looking at them, you know, to the side of your person. So you have a clearer view behind you is what I'm trying to get at, because they're wider out on the bars than the factory ones. So you actually get a cleaner view of what's happening behind you. So I really like those. I've personally used those quite a bit. The factory levers on these bikes, I believe, are actually, they do have some adjustment in them, but we've opted to do the black aftermarket short style adjustable levers. So especially if you only use 2 or 3 fingers to ride, I mean, you can still get 4 fingers on these too, but I personally use 2 fingers to ride. So on my bikes, I like to have a shorter lever just to free up some space. And these, of course, are very adjustable. Once again, this kit is available on our e-store. And we can see it's a very tight fit. A lot of these aftermarket levers, they don't fit that well. Let me get a better camera angle for you there. They don't fit that well, and they have like a ton of up and down play. And these are very direct. They fit very well. We're very selective with where you know, we source our parts. This bike, you can't see it, but this does have the Royal Enfield Performance air filter, which is just behind the rear covers there. It does have the swing arm spool set, which are these little spools here, or I believe some people may refer to them as like a swing arm, like a bobbin. But these are great if you have a stand, like a track stand, to put the bike, back of the bike up in the air. Of course, the Continental, unfortunately, does not come with a center stand, so those are helpful, like I said, if you do have a stand for it with where you keep it. And lastly, we have the compact engine guard coupled with the 2-into-1 Stinger exhaust system. So we've had so many questions on previous bikes we've built where we've put these bars on with the Stinger exhaust system, because I believe that exhaust system, the manufacturer says it won't fit with these Royal Enfield compact engine bars, but we were actually able to tweak them and make them work. And they don't rattle or anything. You've already seen me ride the bike a little bit. We can see it is tight. It's a very tight tolerance right there, upper and lower, but it does clear. So pretty much all you have to do is just tweak this engine guard kind of back a little bit. You pretty much just have to tweak the mounting points, and it just fits on there. It doesn't rattle or make contact, like I said. So we were able to make those work, and like I said, we have a lot of questions about those, so I just wanted to, I guess, finally answer that, I guess, for an easy way for everyone to see. But that's what we do. It works great for us, and like I said, you barely have to tweak that right bar just back a little bit to clear the Stinger pipe. And of course, the left bar here, you don't have to do anything with that because there's no more exhaust pipe there with that single exit system. And now let's talk about that 3-year unlimited mileage warranty that Royal Enfield includes with these bikes. It's really quite impressive that they offer this warranty. It really outdoes any other manufacturer I know of at this point in time. Other manufacturers I know will offer a year, maybe 2 years, but 3 years unlimited mileage. You could ride your Royal Enfield around the country multiple times. You could take it around the world, and in those 3 years, you're still gonna be in a factory warranty. These bikes are so well built, they're very robust. Especially when you see them in person, you'll realize the fit and finish is just really nice on them, and it just feels like such a quality machine. And that actually reigns true because I barely see these come back for warranty concerns through our service department. So really such a great track record with the reliability of these. Personally, I would not be worried, buying one of these or keeping one after the warranty period is up, but it really will be a long time before that warranty period is up with that 3-year period. So now let's swing a leg over the Continental. We're gonna stand it up here, and let me get a better camera angle for us. And let's go over the controls and the sort of dash here. So on the left, we've got this first 3-way switch. So our running lights are always on. This is high beam, and this is flash to pass. And then we have our blinkers right here, our horn. And then unlike some of the other bikes, there's actually no button back here because the button for the gauges are up right between the gauges on the Interceptor and the Continental. Of course, I already showed you we have a USB plug under here that we just can't see right now. And of course, we have our clutch lever. Now we have our throttle, front brake, this 3-way run switch. And I really like with these switches how Royal Enfield has kind of put this writing in here. You can see Royal Enfield since 1901. They could have left these switches blank, in my opinion, and I don't think anyone would have really complained. But like I said, you see these in person, and the fit and finish is just so impressive with all the little touches Royal Enfield does. But now to the operation. Right now it's on the run position, that's kill, and to start it, you just bump it in to the left. And a great standard feature on these bikes, they have hazards. So if we turn on the key, we can see it does a nice gauge sweep there. And we actually have hazards right there. Those are standard. So we can turn those on, and then actually we can even turn the key off and they stay on. So there's a lot of bikes in a much higher price point that actually don't have 4-way flashers or hazards as standard. And I mean, if you're in the certain circumstance where unfortunately you really need to be seen, you're on the side of the road or something, maybe helping someone else out, you know, this could be the difference between someone seeing you and someone not. So I really like that it has these, you know, included as standard. Now let's turn on the ignition once again. I really like the gauge sweep it does. I like any vehicle that does that kind of gauge sweep. We have a fuel gauge. We can see we have 2 bars right now. We're on our odometer. I can click our button and we go over to trip A, trip B, or back to our odometer. And if we want to reset one of the trips, we just go to our respective trip and just hold the button for a couple seconds and it goes right back down to 0. So very kind of intuitive and simple to use. And of course we have our array of kind of warning lights here, including our neutral light and the ABS light there. That does go off once you ride the bike forward a few feet because the ABS system does do a self-check every time you ride the bike. So that is completely normal. So now that the ignition is on, let me just bump the starter. And of course, we already saw me ride it a little bit. We had already seen how nice it runs, but I'll just talk about that for 1 second. These bikes, the fueling on them, on the fuel injection system, is really dialed in. Really, no matter the elevation you're at or the fuel quality you may have around you, they always run really sweet. And there's no messing with a choke or keeping a carburetor clean every season. You know, as long as you put these away properly, in my opinion, to put a little bit of fuel stabilizer in it, run it through, and then it's pretty much ready to just fire up and ride, you know, the next riding season. So that's just a huge plus with these. The power is very smooth and linear on the road, very responsive, and these things are just such a blast to ride. And there's none of those nuances, at least when I've ridden them, about when people have you know, complaints of the fueling or stuttering or hiccups in power on these new bikes that are kind of leaned out from the factory. Like I said, these are just very dialed in, and it's really apparent the moment that you ride one. So I believe I've covered this bike in great detail. We've heard that awesome Stinger exhaust. This does have the baffle in, by the way. We do have some other videos showing the sound of this with and without the baffle, so that'll be linked in this video as well if you want to check that out. But I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something new today about the Continental and that you enjoyed watching. So please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest Royal Enfield content.